to get organized. All right. Welcome. Lots to talk about today. A couple presentations from our friends at the Weather Service, from our friends at OEM. At OEM, there you go. And then some stuff on public safety we want to cover at the end. But before we start, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, I'm going to take roll call. Make sure we have a quorum, which we clearly do, but let's see who's here. Aging. Ag and Markets.
Present.
OCFS.
Present.
Docs.
Present.
DCJS.
Present.
SED.
Present.
ESD.
Present.
NYSERDA.
Present.
DEC.
Here.
DFS.
Present.
OFPC. OGS.
Present.
DOH.
Present.
HCR.
Present.
ITS.
Present.
DOL. OMH.
Present.
MTA.
Present.
DMNA. Parks.
Present.
OPWDD.
Present.
Port Authority.
Present.
PSC. State Police.
Present.
Department of State.
Present.
Thruway.
Present.
DOT.
Good morning, we're here.
Good morning. OVS.
Present.
OEM.
Present.
American Red Cross.
Present.
211.
Present.
Brilliant. All right. Let's rock and roll. Nope, that's a lie. All right, let's start with the Weather Service and the 2025 hurricane season outlook and upcoming weather. Steve, take it away. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's still morning, I think it is.
Steve, just a reminder to lean into that mic.
Lean into the mic.
Man, does this HVAC make it hard to hear back here. Got
it. All right, so good morning again. I'm going to talk a little bit about the summer and fall seasonal outlooks and the tropical outlook. Temperature precipitation outlooks, the Atlantic Basin hurricane outlook and climatology. Another site is going to add flood inundation mapping in New York this year, and just a reminder that severe weather season has started. So for the next couple of weeks, temperatures look to be generally near normal, and precipitation might be above normal. We don't see any extreme heat, at least in the next couple of weeks. It is June. We are, believe it or not, with all the rain and the cool weather we've had, we are in the season of heat and severe weather, but we've had mostly just rain. Although with the warmer weather and the outlook for higher precipitation, flash flooding is certainly more likely. Next slide. For the summer, odds favor above normal temperatures as we get later into the summer, or as an average overall for the summer, although the next 2 weeks look generally near normal. The latter half of the summer appears to be expected to be warmer, and then again wetter than normal conditions, which again may favor more in the way of flash flood problems as the summer goes on. Next slide. For the fall, again, odds favor above normal temperatures, but precipitation returns to near normal. So with the rain, the drought has ended across the state, and with the rain expected through the summer, it looks like that shouldn't be a problem, and with normal precipitation in the fall, hopefully we don't see any reoccurrence of drought. Next slide. Hurricane season is just beginning, and we have had, although we don't see a lot of storms in June and July, we have had some devastating storms hit New York in June. Agnes in 1972 comes to mind. Storms activity usually starts to ramp up in August and peaks in September, and then drops off mostly by the end of October, with the latest that we usually see any kind of significant storms. Sometimes in November, but usually by the end of October, the season is done. As far as locations, for this time of year, June, July, most of the storms form pretty close to the United States coast, either in the Gulf or along the East Coast. As you move further into the summer, we start to see more of the storms forming near Africa and moving all the way across the Atlantic before recurving either into the open Atlantic or up the East Coast, or sometimes they move all the way west into the Gulf or into Mexico. But for this time of year, right along the United States is actually a pretty common occurrence for a location for storm development. So for the outlook, the two big factors this year are the sea surface temperatures, which I'll show on the next slide, which are much closer to normal this year, and the fact that we have no La Nina or El Nino this year. I like to call it La Nada, which is neutral in between. El Nino tends to suppress hurricane activity. La Nina tends to enhance it. With neither, you would expect sort of a more normal level of activity. However, sea surface temperatures remain slightly above normal, and so the Hurricane Center is looking at that, and the fact that we're in a 40-year cycle of above normal activity to go slightly above normal with the activity. A reminder, it only takes one storm, and the more storms that we have in the Atlantic in any given year, the higher the odds that one could find its way to New York. Next slide. Again, this is just a chart showing the sea surface temperatures. The last two summers, ocean temperatures were way elevated, very much above normal. Hence, we had a lot of activity. This year, much closer to normal, and we're expecting much closer to normal tropical activity in the Atlantic. Next slide. Just a reminder on some of the impacts from tropical storms. Coastal storm surge is a threat downstate. We have heavy rain, flash flooding, high rainfall rates, general flooding can happen, and of course strong winds with the stronger storms. And if you're curious about the names, I don't think there's been any named systems yet. Andrea will be the first storm of the year. Next slide. So for the flood inundation mapping rollout, the Weather Service has been doing this over the past few years. It's supposed to be completed in 2026, around the 1st of October of 2026. For this year, one additional site, the Burlington Forecast Office, which covers part of northern New York, will roll out the flood inundation mapping for far northern New York this year. That'll be added to the rest of the sites. And again, that includes far northern New York. Next slide. And the last site will be the New York City office. And the reason that the coastal sites are last on this is because we've got to couple the tide and surge models with the river forecast models at the interface and the estuaries, and that won't be completed until next year. Okay, severe weather season is here. Memorial Day through Labor Day is the main severe weather season. The primary threats are obviously strong winds, large hail, and tornadoes. And I think New York had its first tornado of the year last year. I don't know if it's been officially declared, but I saw drone footage today, and they'll find a tornado down there. In Chautauqua County, I believe last night they had a tornado. Also heavy rain.
Steve, Cattaraugus.
Oh, was it Cattaraugus County? One of the C's, far southwestern New York. Sorry about that. Most flash flooding occurs from high rainfall rates from thunderstorms, and that is always a threat in the summer. Next slide. And really, just a reminder that no place in the state is immune from severe weather or flash flooding. These are the reports from last summer. Last summer, we did set a record for tornadoes across New York, at least since 1950. There were 32 confirmed tornadoes across the state. And obviously, flash flood reports and severe weather reports dot the state. So it can happen anywhere, and just something to keep in mind. And that's all I have, unless there are any questions for me. Okay.
Do you feel appropriately resourced heading into tropical weather and severe weather season? I know that there are hiring freezes. I know that folks have taken early retirement. How do the WFOs in the state of New York feel in terms of being able to continue to provide the excellent service you have been providing over the last several years?
I don't think anybody's in a situation where they won't be able to provide the normal level of service, at least not that I'm aware of. I know our office is okay. I mean, yeah.
Sorry, Steve, I didn't want to.
That's fine. He's the boss.
Senator, if you can take a mic. Take a mic. It's okay. Oh, he's gone. Here. Oh, there.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, just yell.
Yeah, your commanding voice.
All right. I'm sure most of you have met me before.
Chris Kitchell, meteorologist in charge of the National Weather Service office in Albany. As many of you know, the National Weather Service has been dealing with significant staffing shortfalls. We've had multiple people across the agency take early retirement, the fork opportunity, et cetera. We lost about 450 people across the agency. That has significantly impacted the number of people we have available at our offices. Right now for New York State, we have 5 offices that support the great state of New York. The Buffalo office is going to be the most severely challenged office with respect to staffing right now. However, we just did get a hiring exemption. So in the not too distant future, probably within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be starting a pretty significant hiring, restarting hiring pretty significantly across the agency. So the numbers heading into the crux of the severe weather season and the tropical season will likely be improving for all 5 offices that support the state of New York. Sure.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
When do we get a sunny weekend?
That's a good question. I
I
wish I
mean,
knew. I wish I knew, but
Inquiring minds want to know.
well, it's funny. We get these cycles, right? So we're on like sort of a 7-day cycle right now. I mean, I've seen it snow every day and every Thursday in the winter, and we're just happen to be on a Saturday one right now. Hopefully sometime this summer the pattern will break as we get into more of a summer hit and miss thunderstorm pattern. So as opposed to weather systems.
That was not the answer I was looking for, just so you know. I like next weekend Kamish would have been good.
Next weekend. I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Very good. Thank you, Steve.
thank you.
Okay. Is it you? All right. Pete Cicchetti, our acting director at the Office of Emergency Management, is going to discuss the expansion of training and exercise capabilities amongst our team.
You're moving it? Okay. Hey, good morning, everyone. As Commissioner Bray mentioned, my name is Pete Cicchetti. I'm the acting director of the New York State Office of Emergency Management. Very good to be back here presenting to the DPC. We wanted to talk to this group about OEM's upcoming priorities and some of our sort of increased and enhanced capabilities that are as a result of an expansion that OEM was approved for a few years ago. So we thought it was important to talk to you all, not only about our priorities, but also to highlight some really key initiatives that we have either ongoing, that many of your agencies have already worked on or supported, and are upcoming as well, that we expect all of your agencies to either participate in and or continue to support. Next slide, please. Okay, so to talk about our upcoming priorities, when we worked towards our expansion, we outlined 6 key objectives. They're listed here. The first being to increase our regional presence and our field programs. We have regional teams across 10 zones across the state. They are the primary liaisons with county emergency managers. If you are an agency that has a regional footprint, they are the primary liaisons with your regional teams out in the field as well. They do an excellent job supporting counties with response and also supporting counties with planning, training, and exercises. And we wanted to build the bench depth there, not only so we could better support counties with response and coordination during an incident, but also so that we could have sort of additional capability to run structured programs out in the field. And we'll talk about one that we've been doing for the past 2 years and will continue to do annually in a minute. The next priority is to increase our all hazards planning and training opportunities across state agencies and for counties as well. As I think you all know, State Office of Emergency Management within the division is responsible for maintaining the state's comprehensive emergency management plan, and we maintain and update annually all of its annexes. At this point, there are more than 30 annexes. They are either hazard-specific annexes or functional annexes. All of you have had input into some or many of those annexes, depending upon the subject matter. In addition, our planning team is the one that works most closely with your teams on establishing your EMOPs, which kind of establishes the triggers you use to report into the State Watch Center and to take action. We want to build out our planning capabilities to not only work with counties, with state agencies more to develop our state plans, but also to work more closely with counties on helping them develop their SEMPs, their COOP plans, their COG plans, their annexes. And so we're building out that capability in very real ways, and we look forward to working not only with you all on sort of building out the state capability, but more importantly, working closely with counties and your regional teams out in the regions on supporting them. Sort of same story for training. We have a really robust training program that is coordinated through the State Office of Emergency Management. There is one training that I'm going to highlight that is recently developed that we're really excited about. We've coordinated the FEMA Basic Academy, which many of your emergency managers have already taken and always gets really good feedback. We oversee the EMC&T, Emergency Management Certification and Training Program, which county leaders get. That's called the Tier 1. County emergency managers are required to take. That's the Tier 2. And local municipality leaders can take the Tier 3. Those are offered out in the field. I think many of you are familiar with those. All of the trainings related to ICS, we coordinate, we make sure we can put them on, we get the instructors, et cetera, but we always have sort of a queue of training requests because we can't meet the demand given the staffing that we have. So we're building out our training section, we're building out our capabilities, and not only to offer more trainings of the ones that you all already take, but also to offer new trainings that fill gaps. And the one I'm going to highlight in a minute is a good example of that. So we're looking forward to that. And then our third one is invest in OEM's tabletop and functional exercise programs. We've historically lumped training and exercise together as sort of one thing. And while they are really similar, they are distinct. And so as part of our expansion, we've broken them apart and treated them as separate things. And our exercise team, this is the group that puts on our annual functional exercise of the state EOC, which all of you participate in. This is the group that works with you on tabletops, whether they're for hurricane preparedness or for practicing your ESF. This is the group that goes out and does moulage as part of exercises. We work really closely with counties on supporting them, and we want to build out our capability there so that we're doing more statewide exercises and exercising ourselves, drilling our capabilities, and more importantly, working with counties on supporting them in building their own exercises and also supporting them on doing exercise evaluation, which is sort of a new capability we're adding to this in the way we're adding curriculum development to our training section. The fourth one is build state OEM's geospatial and analytic capabilities. We have really worked hard to build this team from the ground up to sort of enhance what we're able to do as it relates to data analysis as well as geospatial analysis. We worked closely during the prison strike with DOCS on supporting them with data gathering information, reporting, data analysis, and sort of collating a lot of their data in very new and unique ways that we historically haven't supported in. And we're trying to build out that capability significantly. And so as we work with each of your state agencies on planning, on training, on exercising, on working with you on sort of enhancing our overall ability to respond, we will be incorporating new techniques for data analysis and hopefully geospatial products throughout our efforts. The fifth one is really important to us. It's a key priority, and I'll highlight the training I mentioned in a few minutes, but it's to create a dedicated team focused on incorporating access and functional needs and community outreach best practices into our external-facing programs, and the our there is our OEM and DHSES external-facing programs, but also working with counties to help them incorporate these considerations into their planning, training, and response efforts, and working across state agencies to ensure that all of our plans are considerate of access and functional needs and community outreach best practices. And we've started to do that in very real ways, but we're looking forward to this team coming on board and helping us sort of elevate our efforts there in really strong ways. And then the final one, which is sort of always an objective of ours, is to strengthen our logistics capabilities and resource coordination. And that's not just our ability to move things from A to B. It's not just getting, more equipment or more trucks or more vehicles or more drivers. It's also improving the systems we use to track inventories, to track movements, and to track our overall sort of resource coordination across the state. So as I mentioned, we've been strengthening not only our field staff out in the regions, but also the programs that we administer at the field level. And starting last year and continuing this year and will continue next year, we engaged in this regional tabletop initiative where our field teams did a coordinated tabletop effort with every county in the entire state on a specific scenario. And the goal was to have one single scenario that was implemented statewide for a statewide framework for exercising and strengthening the emergency response capabilities and SOPs across New York State. So each of these exercises has about 8 to 10 counties. It enables them to kind of have a tabletop and discuss considerations at the regional level across counties, but also internal to their county, because each county doesn't just have their emergency manager, but they also have local law enforcement, local DPW, local human services agencies, if appropriate, and our regional folks across state agencies out in the field are present at these as well. So as I mentioned, last year we did 16 in total. The scenario was winter weather, so all of the sort of operational agencies were present at those, DOT, DEC, Thruway, and others. This year, the focus is an MCI incident, mass casualty incident, and we've had our partners at OMH and OVS and others be present at those out in the regions. We've completed 14 so far. 49 counties and New York City, and we have 2 more to do, which will complete out the 8 remaining counties, and those are in October. Next year, we don't have the scenario yet, but we will continue this, and this will be a sort of a standing program that we run. All right, and the next big initiative that we wanted to highlight is a new course that we are offering called Integrating Access and Functional Needs into Emergency Management. At the direction of Commissioner Bray and our Executive Deputy Commissioner Terry O'Leary, we wanted to make this sort of a top priority for this year, and we actually brought in the state of California to teach us their course and then help not only teach us their course, but then help us work on how we can adapt it to be a New York State-specific course. It's called G197 because G197 was a FEMA course that used to be offered that they discontinued. California sort of took it on and developed their own state-specific one, and then a number of other states have developed something, but California sort of remains the top in this, if you will. And so we've worked closely with them on developing a state-specific course for integrating access and functional needs into emergency management. Many of the agencies here at these tables were incorporated or included in the development process, so we thank you very much. That's primarily the O agencies and DOH. Thank you for your input. It was, as I understand it, a really collaborative process, and it was a really, it's an exceptional training. We've done 2 pilots so far. There is a 3rd pilot that is being offered in Albany at the end of June, and then we're getting right into our offerings. There's already one scheduled for Dutchess County in July, and there's a few others on the horizon. So this is not just a course for county emergency managers, but it is a course for state emergency managers and other personnel too, to take and to participate in, and it will be sort of an iterative process. So we feel really good about the training as it exists today, but we will continue to strengthen it as we learn more. As we bring the dedicated AFN team on board to OEM, we will continue to evaluate and revise it, and you can see those offerings upcoming, and we do encourage state agency personnel to participate, to take the course. It's really important that all of us are mindful of access and functional needs considerations for emergency management as we do our day-to-day work for our planning, our training, and our response efforts, and we also want your feedback as you take it. We want you to let us know what you thought, because it is a new course, so it's always important that we continue to evolve. And then finally, just a few additional things we wanted to highlight. As Steve mentioned, we had our first tornado yesterday in Cattaraugus County. It did some damage to a number of structures. Last year we had 32 tornadoes. We're hoping we don't break that record this year because that was a record last year, but you never know. We also had wildfire last year. We're in hurricane season now. Extreme rainfall is just getting worse and worse. Extreme heat seems to be getting worse and worse. So there is a diverse threat landscape on the weather side in the summer. And so this year, like we've done the past 2 years, I believe, we asked each of your agencies for statements of readiness for summer weather to be reported to us through New York Responds. We will aggregate all of the information and then share that back with you. A big thank you to any agency that has already submitted their report. I think they're not due until I think there's some more time, but those statements of readiness are about your agency's readiness posture for any and all summer weather, inclusive of flooding, wildfires, extreme heat, and anything else we may see in the summer. So a thank you there, and you can look for sort of the aggregated answers back from us, and also it's accessible in New York Responds. The second thing, we recently rolled out a new text-to-sign-up platform for emergency and weather alerts from the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. We rolled it out about a month ago, and we are continuously increasing our subscriber base. And what this is, it's a simple way to sign up for emergency and weather alerts. All you have to do is text your county name to this number, and you are signed up. And on our website is all of the examples of when you can expect an alert. The alerts are based on thresholds related to weather forecasting. So, for example, if there's a flood watch in your county, you will get an alert. If there's an extreme heat warning, you will get an alert. There's a number of different thresholds for each of the seasons that we include, and they're not just weather-based. Some of them are based on power outages or other incidents. So please, we encourage you, each of you here, to sign up for this for your county, and you can sign up for as many counties as you want. Our External Affairs Office has also shared with all of your PIOs a packet about how you can, things for you to tweet out, different information that you can sort of send out to promote it further. And as you talk to your partners, not only at the state level, but at the county and local level, we encourage you to promote this as well, because it's a really easy way for people to sign up and then get access to emergency and weather alerts. Hurricane evacuation study, we've talked about this at a few of these meetings, I think, and to all of you. It's an ongoing process. It's been ongoing for a few years now, so just an update there. We have completed the first 3 phases, which is the hazard, vulnerability, and behavioral analysis assessments. We are on phase 4 of 5, and that is the shelter analysis. And we just began phase 4, and I think actually we're closing out the behavioral analysis, but haven't completed it. But that is ongoing. We've been working closely with all of the coastal counties, some of your agencies, as well as the counties up the Hudson River, because the new modeling sort of enables us to forecast potential flooding up the Hudson River as well, and certainly any coastal flood can flood counties upstate. And this is the first time we've done a statewide hurricane evacuation study since 2009. It is a partnership with the federal government, the National Hurricane Program, of course state government, as well as county and local governments too. Our emergency equipment distribution, this is an effort that was approved in the budget last year that allows us to purchase emergency equipment to basically transition to counties for their use in emergencies. And this is our attempt to help counties build up their own mini stockpiles. We have 9 state stockpiles across the state that are used frequently. The resources within them are requested frequently, but it takes time to get things to them, to counties. And in a pinch, we want counties to have access to their own resources that they can use in emergencies. So this equipment includes the pumps and generators and chainsaws, things you'd use in flooding incidents. It also includes VMS boards and light towers, things you'd use in a range of incidents. And we will be distributing that equipment in the coming months to every county. Every county is benefiting from this. And then finally, there are a number of upcoming trainings, workshops, and meetings that we are excited about that will help enhance our sort of overall collective summer weather readiness. We did our first ever iPause workshop with New York City, Nassau, and Suffolk counties last month. This was to share best practices related to emergency alerting. IPAWS stands for the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System. It is the system we use to send out the texts that overtake your phone that tell you something urgent is happening in your community. We did that workshop. It was really, really valuable for the participants, and we're going to continue to do those workshops at a regional level across the state over the next several months. There was one more that I forgot. So anyway, we have a number of upcoming, we're working with the State Weather Risk and Coordination Center, or the NICE work as we call it. All of you should get their daily weather reports out from the State Watch Center. We are working with them on sort of a Weather 101 training that we intend to pilot this August with some state agencies, some county partners, and some DISH's personnel, and then we expect to roll that out in full force in 2026. And it's to teach people the basics of forecasting, to teach people the basics of how to communicate weather risk, both up to their leaders and out to the public. It is being done in coordination with the National Weather Service. They have been kind enough to agree to participate in instructing one of the modules, and we are looking forward to piloting that and then rolling it out in 2026. And with that, I will ask if there are any questions from the group. All right, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Pete. Any questions about the expansion, about priorities? Okay, that's fair. All right. As chair, at this point, I'd like to make a motion to conduct an executive session under Public Officers Law, Section 105 for the commission to discuss matters which, if disclosed, would impact public safety. There is, I want to say, no active threat, and I don't intend to make any decisions during this executive session, but I would like to go into executive session to have a conversation about a couple things going on in the world of public safety that I think are more responsibly discussed in executive session. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. We need to roll call. Ag and Markets? It's a yes or no.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. OCFS? Yes. Docs?
Yes.
DCJS?
Yes.
SED?
Yes.
ESD?
Yes.
NYSERDA?
Yes.
DEC?
Yes.
TFS?
Yes.
OFPC? OGS?
Yes.
DOH?
Yes.
HCR?
Yes.
ITS?
Yes.
DOL? Not here, sorry. OMH?
Yes.
MTA?
Yes.
DMNA?
Yes.
Parks?
Yes.
OPWDD?
Yes.
Port?
Yes.
PSC?
Yes.
State Police?
Yes.
DOS?
Yes.
Thruway?
Yes.
DOT?
Yes.
OVS?
Yes.
American Red Cross?
Yes.
And 211?
Yes.
Okay. If you are a member of the public, I would ask you to leave the room. We will call you back in at the end of executive session. If you are an operational or a council staff sitting behind me, stay. If you are, comms or support staff, I would also ask you to leave the room, but operational staff, council staff, you should stay. And I'm just gonna give us 60 seconds for people to self-sort there. like might happen in the federal space to resources for emergency management and how the state could potentially adjust in order to keep New Yorkers safe. We made no decisions, took no votes. And with that, does anyone want a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Anyone want to second that? Anyone want to object? Okay, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.